So reframing is, if you've ever worked in like politics or marketing, you'll know that your frame is the way that you view something. So as an example, let's say that you're trying to sell low-fat yogurt, all right? Let's say that the yogurt is 80% fat, okay? What you're going to say is it's 20% fat-free. The reason you would say that as opposed to it's 80% fat is because when you say it's 20% fat-free, now we're like, oh, I feel better about it.
Right.
So what reframing does is it helps you to see an issue from a different vantage point. So when I see somebody killing it and I'm like, man, I would love to be where they are. At the end of the day, the reframe is, I wonder what I can learn from what they're doing.
Ooh, no, that is so good.
As opposed to, why can't I be? It's like, no, what can I learn from what they're doing, man? That's really cool. That helps you to get free.
It's the reframe for me. I'm sure it is. Because I had to do that. All right, bet. He's winning. Let me hit him up. Yo, bro, what are you doing?
Yes.
How are you doing this?
Yes.
I see you winning. I'm happy for you. 'Cause I genuinely am. But I just want to learn.
Yeah.
You know, and I think sometimes people have a hard time of that because they feel as if, well, I'm asking them to teach me. Absolutely.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, and when people ask me that, right, I'm like, okay, this dude want to learn something. Let me see. And if I teach it to them and they go out there and do it, he or she was in the right heart. If I give it to them and they don't do it, it was a, they were a little, well, I won't say that. No, so.
But you're right. I mean, God gives us, I think that he gives, it's just like, okay, so working out, we both work out, right?
Yeah.
The one thing people have to understand is you don't build strength by lifting what is comfortable. You build strength by lifting what is uncomfortable repeatedly until your muscle fibers break and then they grow back stronger, right? Well, God will give you so many tests in order to increase your spiritual muscle strength. And the way that he does it is he comes right for your insecurity. So like one of the stories I tell in the book, so I got invited to an influencer gathering. But the way that it happened was the host texted me and was like, hey, we want you to come to this thing. Here's a link to register. We hope you make it. So I click on the link and I look and I see all these incredible people. And I was like, oh, man, yeah, I cannot believe I was invited to come. This is great. But as I'm scrolling through all the invitees, I don't see my name. I'm sitting here like, wait. So I was invited, but I'm not even listed? And it made me think, well, man, maybe I was just an afterthought. And I started to like feel all the insecurity get kicked up. And then though, this is when I was already kind of moving down the path to getting free from comparison. The Holy Spirit said, here's what I want you to do. Look at that list and see who else is missing. And I want you to make sure they're invited.
Wow.
And I was like,
that's so good.
Okay. So I reached out to the host and I was like, do you mind if I invite these people who are missing? And they were like, yeah, do it.
Yeah.
I reached out to them. Half the people were like, oh, my name's not on the list. I don't think I'm supposed to come. The other half were like, oh, yeah, I was invited to that, but, you know, I'm not going to be able to make it. And that half of people, I was like, wait.
You weren't on the list.
I was like, you ain't see my name on the list and you didn't even tell me about it. I was like, so you saw I wasn't on the list. But then the Holy Spirit was like, it's not about that. It's about you learning that every opportunity you have is an opportunity to be a blessing to other people. And once you get that in your mind, you're no longer going to be insecure. Because everything I have is meant to be a conduit for God's grace.
So good.
And it ended up where I couldn't even go to the event.
For real.
So I invited all these people to come.
And you couldn't even go.
And I couldn't even go. But that was a test for me.
Yeah.
So that God could help me see that I was getting free.
This is good. Like, and it really, and I hope you all are listening, and I hope that you're learning something, and I hope is convicting you to get a book. Because this is going to set you free. You know, since you work in the social media space, right, I got to ask this question. Every year, I take 2 weeks off of social media. 2 weeks in July, 2 weeks in December. Because I do believe sometimes I need to unplug, right?
For sure.
And when I say unplug, if you would have asked me 5 years ago when I started this, I would say I would have unplugged. I would have said I unplugged because sometimes social media is toxic, right? it makes me insecure. Now, when I say that, I say I'm unplugging from social media because sometimes when I see something, I make it toxic. And so sometimes I need to step away to just recalibrate my brains and my eyes and get myself right. But then when you ask, like the older generation, they say social media is the devil. That we shouldn't be on social media. I even went to a conference recently, and this particular person on this particular stage said that you should not be on social media. Pay someone else to be on social media because it's not healthy for your brain. Like, social media is the problem. And I was like, wait. So you're good enough to not be on it, but you're good enough to pay somebody else to consume the toxic on your behalf? Like, what? Does that even make sense?
Right.
So with you working with the premier company in social media, right? What is your thoughts? Like, do you believe that social media is a reason why some of us have comparison issues? We have toxic mental issues. We battle depression. Do you believe that these companies, these social media outlets, I won't name them because I don't want to get in no trouble. Do you think they are the reason why a lot of us are getting depressed, suicide thoughts, stuff like that?
Well, here's what I'll say. I believe that insecurity predates social media. And I know that because before we were on these platforms, there were people in our office building, people in our church, people in our neighborhood, in our family that we felt like we didn't measure up to. Like, before we were on these platforms, we thought so-and-so thought they were better than us. We felt like, so-and-so on our job was getting ahead of us and it wasn't fair. I believe that it's not the platforms that are making us insecure. I believe that they are exposing insecurity that was already there. And we have to be careful that we don't conflate that which exposes insecurity with that which causes insecurity. And that's why I was careful earlier to really differentiate between the two types of comparison, inspiration versus expiration. Because the same person can look at a post and be inspired. Another person can look at it and be expired. It really is a question of the human condition and what's happening in our heart. And so I don't believe that the platforms are creating insecurity. I do believe that they're exposing what's already there, and that's part of the reason why I wrote this book, because it's like, look, you should be able to go on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and Twitter and be good. You should be able to, but there's something on the inside of us that is causing us to see what other people are doing and compare ourselves to it in such a way that we feel we don't measure up. And so that's a fundamental problem. It's not the platform. There's a condition on the inside of us that we've got to get free from.
And let's just say, all right, cool. So I agree with you that these amazing apps, because these apps have made me money, right? So let's be real. They're not the devil. If you use it wisely and effectively, and it's good, make money and enjoy life, If someone is going on a particular app, right, and they're starting to sense some comparison, what should they do?
Unfollow. So here's the thing. There are so many features, and I'll speak about Instagram just as an example since I know that one so well. You can unfollow, you can mute. There's so many things you can do to not see content that triggers your insecurity, right? And so if you look at my social, I follow a very small number of people compared to my followers. And the reason is I am incredibly intentional about only following people that I either know or people that inspire me.
That's so
the
good.
moment, I'm telling you, the moment I start to be like, unfollow, literally, because I have to protect my mind and my peace and my heart. And frankly, it's not that person's fault. There's something on the inside of me. And so I say unfollow.
And you know what's so funny is? I do that. Like, I think I follow maybe like 800 people out of the, nearly 300,000 people just on Instagram. And I get DMs like, yo, did I do something? And I'll be like, dude. And then I'll be honest, there are some people right now I just mute because I know they'll give me a headache if I unfollow them. Right.
But thank
they'll
God
take
for
it
mute.
personal.
Thank God for mute.
Thank God for mute. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, it ain't personal. I don't have nothing
I'm
against
protecting
you.
myself. Correct.
Right. It's just like, I just don't, some of your posts just doesn't doesn't make sense to us.
Yeah.
You know, and here's the truth. Some of us were in a certain season when we followed you, and then we've grown out of that season, or that season changed.
Yeah.
And so it's nothing like, I'm happy for you over there, but boom. So I want to say this, man, go unfollow some people. I literally do it maybe like once a quarter. I'll just go through the social media accounts, well, specifically Instagram, because my team runs Facebook, and I spend a lot of my time on YouTube and Instagram. And I just got on the TikTok, and I specifically said, all right, do not follow the people on here.
But we have to carry that out to real life, and that's the thing. Like there are people in our life who inspire us because they're dealing with their own insecurity. And so I know people who they always come around with the expensive bags, they always got the expensive shoes, they always got the expensive car, they always got this. But at the end of the day, it's like, you're not really adding anything to my life.